Now let's move on. Robotaxis. Baidu Robotaxis. So Baidu had their big event recently, and they released a bunch of news about the different technology that they're working on and all this cool stuff. And, you know, Robotaxis was one of them. They released another personal assistant, and they have personal assistants, and they have those little, even those little mini robots and stuff that they've shown before. And all this is cool. We're going to talk about it. First, one thing I'll say is that me and the people in Nanjing Marketing Group that do search marketing, we're just hoping that Baidu would give us some like really concrete, new, cool things that's going to make our search advertising better. You know, like better targeting tools, or just tying all of their search products together better, or even just like speeding up the applications or anything. But no, Baidu's not really talking about search much. They're talking about AI. They're talking about vehicles. They're talking about all sorts of different things that they're doing in technology. And it is pretty cool. It just doesn't affect marketing much, but let's see what this is. So this article that I saw said that China's biggest search engine, Baidu, has transported more than 100,000 passengers in autonomous vehicles as part of a robo-taxi pilot program, and the number will soon surge to more than 1 million, CEO Robin Li said. Okay, and the internet giant expects to expand its testing scope significantly as more regional governments ease restrictions. Last month, Beijing local authorities issued licenses for the company to offer rides to the public on 700 kilometers of roads in the city outskirts. Yeah, okay, that's cool. So what I see here is that Baidu's really in this race for autonomous vehicles, you know. And as I reviewed a bunch of different articles about Baidu and their autonomous vehicles, something that came up a lot was comparisons to Tesla. People are saying, you know, maybe Baidu could even have an edge against Tesla here, because they might be able to do more of this, get more data in China than Tesla would be able to do in China or in USA, because the Chinese regulations are going to be a bit more relaxed, and they'll probably favor Baidu more. And the amount of data you can get is really important for helping this AI system learn how to drive like a regular, or drive better than a regular human. And yeah, but you know the automotive market in China, and you know that kind of stuff better than me. I don't know if you have some thoughts on this yet too.
Yeah, I think we can talk about this from a 2 point of view. The first is about why like Baidu has invested so much in autonomous driving. I think like since 2015 and 2016, since the Chinese government really trying to promote the industrial, Baidu started to invest huge money in the sector. And that's why you have seen a lot of latest news about like Baidu has made a robotaxi or mini robot or anything related to that. And the second thought is about autonomous driving. I think one key issue in here, I think is for all the industrial companies, is to break through the knackle of how those AI machines to learn about driving on the road for sure. Because we have seen a lot of news about like Tesla, or either Tesla or other autonomous driving system, they might going to be faulty on the road. And one thing for machine to learn is to have a lot of tests. When I see a lot of tests, like it's more like 1,000 tests maybe. And I think that's just come to advantage of Baidu, because
Wait, hold on.
We have huge.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What do you mean tests?
Test it means like you have to drive on the road. You have to use. I think it's called deep learning in industrial. So you have to have the system on the road and let it run, so it can detect all the obstacles and learn from a Chinese traffic. Yeah. Because I think compared to the road in China and compared to the road in US or Canada, it's way different. I think China's traffic is more complex than other countries. So, yes, I think I get it why you're laughing. Yes.
Okay. China's traffic's more complex. Yeah.
Yes, it's much way complex than Canada.
Yeah.
At least compared to Sydney, it's much way complex. Okay, back to the topic. I think one thing to say is that either for Tesla or Baidu, one thing they need to make sure is they have to give enough practice for the driving system to know how to make a decision when it comes to a problem in China,
Yeah.
particularly in China's traffic. So I think Tesla, I think it's great, but I think Baidu has more advantage in here because they can do more tests. They can do
Yeah.
thousands of tests in China.
Yeah.
Like they can
Yeah.
do a test like 10 tests per day at least. But
Sure,
what
sure.
about
No, no,
Tesla?
but I get what you're saying about that Baidu
Hmm.
will have more tests, but you're not right on the
Hmm.
scale. The scale's not like thousands of tests. We're talking about like hundreds of millions of tests. Like because
Yes, yes,
every ride that somebody takes is a test, you know. And
yes. I think
Tesla's AI is learning from the people that are driving the Teslas. You know, like
yes.
just a little example, like my friend bought a Tesla Model 3 and we were driving on the highway at 100 kilometers an hour. And it, it, it had a little jolt, like it stepped on the brakes for a second. And it's
Uh-huh.
kind of scary because we're driving so fast, right? And it just stepped on the brakes for a bit. It's like, and then it just lurched forward. And we thought, that's
Uh-huh.
weird. But
Okay.
that's weird. We didn't die or anything. It wasn't that bad, but it's kind of weird that its autopilot thought something was off. And I know
I,
the version of the autopilot that we're using now is not the same as the autopilot
mhm,
that will be fully self-driving and such, but
mhm.
the cars still are learning and passing that data back to Tesla. And in China, they're going to get more of that data, but
I think one
it's
thing
complex.
is different. That's I think the thing you called is called um, auto emergency braking system. So that's called AEBS. So that's
Okay.
some trigger when there is an optical suddenly jump into the road. For example, just like you said, you're driving 100 kilometer per hour, and something just all of a sudden jumping into the road, like probably a cat, a pet, and the
Yeah.
car will just brake like autonomically.
Yeah, sure. But
And
the thing about China, because
that's
I got to,
mhm,
but maybe some people
yes.
that watch this after, they don't know, is that Chinese streets can be super busy and there can be all
Hmm.
sorts of stuff going on. If you're driving on like a highway or something like that, it's fairly regular. It's not so crazy. But if you're driving through the small streets, and there are a lot of those in the cities, you know, if you're driving through the small streets, all sorts of stuff can be going on. There's people jaywalking every which way. There's bikes, and they're swerving around. And those buses, like the buses, don't always follow the rules. Sometimes they're just like, "I'm a big bus, I'm coming through," and you just got to watch out, right?
Yeah.
So
Um,
that's a very and people that cross the street at weird times, like it might just be there get to be a bunch of people and they're not supposed to cross the street, but there's so many people on the side, and then they just decide they're going to walk across, and at cars and the AI system would have to get used to all of this. It seems like it'd be pretty hard to get used to.
I think Baidu have two advantages in here. First is Baidu have their own maps. So maybe they don't have installed all the AI system into all the manufacturer they've been working with. But like every Chinese, at least like probably I would say 50% of Chinese net citizens are using Baidu map. So that
Yeah,
means like Baidu can even collect those kind of data from normal users who don't even drive. So
right.
their passes, their actions. And the second thing is Baidu has been cooperating with many of Chinese original equipment manufacturers, like Xiaopeng and others car manufacturers.
Hmm.
So they have been installed the AI system into those kind of new cars, new energy cars.
Okay.
So while those cars are running on the street, they are also collecting data. So they have more data compared with Tesla.
Okay. Okay. And you know this stuff because of your like that market research you've been doing?
Yes, I think
Okay.
we have been doing a research about the autonomous driving and the new energy
Yeah.
vehicles. I
Yeah.
think I learned a lot of those stuff from
Yeah.
that research report.
But I mean that's you learned it from the research, or are you just a fan of this and know it anyways?
No, I was not really a fan about like auto driving. I was like, before I did the research, I feel like, oh, that's something like nothing in common, nothing special. But
Mm,
after I
okay.
did the research and I dig into the industry, I feel, oh, something cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.